We're about 13 minutes early, and that's by design. Welcome to another edition of the WWE Monday Night Raw Popcast, exclusively here on the Popcast Network. My name is Owen. This is Ashley. Joining me as always. And we're on the road to WrestleMania. We are 20 days away as of this very moment.
Triple Mania!
Triple Mania, exactly. But to their credit, I know it's overkill, and they're booking a show that pretty much would only get over in like EWR. But the thing is, when it comes down to it, it's a good way to get everybody on the roster on the card. Whether it makes sense or not is inconsequential because it doesn't matter. Just as long as everybody makes a payday. One way to look at it. Real quick before we get started, main event spoilers: Curtis Axel over Bo Dallas, and Jack Gallagher over Noam Dar.
Okay.
Immediately answers my question for tomorrow. Welcome, Go Sox Tim. Timbo says Seth Rollins is going to be a great baby face. Well, yeah, obviously. But, I mean, you got to build sympathy. And with Rollins coming back now, and it looks like he's back permanently, because obviously he did the shows over the weekend, and he was at the shows of the weekend. He didn't actually work on the shows on the weekend. They're probably going to be smart and keep him off the house show circuit until Mania to make sure he's 100%, because we can't be messing up another WrestleMania match. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about tonight. For those of you that are fans of anything that's not necessarily just WWE, great things happened over the weekend. Christopher Daniels became a World Heavyweight Champion, something I called many years ago. And that Popcast for the 15th anniversary show of Ring of Honor is currently available on this network. And I want to thank everyone out there that actually watched or listened to it, because that was a fun show to do. This, on the other hand, not as much.
Trust me, I'm making it fun. We're talking about the other shit that went over the weekend.
So are we gonna double down on everything and do like basically like a preview of Wednesday's podcast?
Sort of, because holy shit, were there so many things that went unexpected in the New Japan Cup.
No lie. We'll be going
Except
into
for
the
fact that even though Omega lost, holy shit, the match with Ishii. I urge everybody, before Wednesday, go to somewhere on the internet, whether it's through New Japan World or, I don't want to say other means, but you might want to use other means, but
find a way to watch it regardless.
Yeah, because that match, I wouldn't say it's match of the year quality. Actually, no, it would be match of the year quality if you didn't already have one on January the 4th.
Yes.
That's the problem. If you could even call that a problem. Impact looks like it's getting even more crazy,
to say the least.
Yeah, aka Rinka King is back, version 2. Oh God. Turns out this World of Sport thing is just going to become a splinter federation for bloody TNA.
Is the reason
Which
why
is ironic, because that would actually mean their product is on 2 different TV stations. So who the fuck is going to be pissed when talent appears on other stations?
It is the reason why Mahabali Shera has a job still.
Yeah, now we know. Now we know.
That's the only reason. I welcome Jeremy Mills as well to chat.
Trying to think. Quite a bit happened in the Indies. Quite a few announcements. I don't think there's anything new from Excalibur yet, is there?
Not that I've seen.
Probably happened within the last 2 hours, so I probably don't even know. either way, yeah, we've got that. SmackDown could be interesting tomorrow, although I don't know what they're going to be doing. I don't think they haven't really teased anything, have they? I've noticed.
No, not really.
Ring of Honor TV. I don't think anybody watched that. What Culture had a show tonight? I don't know what happened. I probably need to look up the results for that.
Welcome, Robert Ford, to the chat.
Major. They certainly made some announcements for next week's show, which will be live on What Culture and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, Impact. Who knows about Lucha Underground?
Going to be on Netflix next week.
Yeah, I always say that. But we'll see. Not getting my hopes up. Oh, good. There's no results for what happened tonight on the What Culture show. Thanks, Internet.
We'll talk about that on Wednesday. We're here to talk about Raw tonight. SmackDown will be discussed on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. I mean, not to say that it was a bad show tonight, but I mean, it was moments of interest, and the rest of it just felt like really filler.
It's a lot of filler tonight. Yeah, a whole lot of filler tonight.
So, I mean, we still had, what was it, 7 or 8 matches, I think?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Technically 8. Some of them actually got time.
So, once again, we have to remind everybody that Goldberg beat Owens to give us part-timer versus part-timer in Triple Mania.
Yay. My first WrestleMania, and that's my main event.
And we start off with Lesnar and Heyman. They come to the ring, and Heyman just all of a sudden like gets down on his knees and basically goes, "Is this a vision or is this just fantasy?" And it's like, okay, why are we ripping off Bohemian Rhapsody here? Did Brock F5 Goldberg? Yep, because down went Goldberg. And Paul says, "I don't just see the future. It's not only me that can see the future, but everybody else saw the future last week when that happened. Yeah. That future takes place at WrestleMania because it's his night that Brock Lesnar causes all those announcers to scream, 'Down goes Goldberg.'" So then the crowd starts chanting for Goldberg, and Heyman goes, "Well, he ain't here, but Brock's here, so listen." By the way, that's the polite way of me saying for all you to shut up.
And they popped for it, of course.
Yes, because they don't give a fuck about Goldberg. People have been wondering what is Brock going to do because of all the problems that they've had. Because each time they met face to face, it's been Spear, Jackhammer, Goldberg. But not last week. Last week was F5. Down goes Goldberg. But not only did Goldberg go down at the hand of Brock, he went down to the most effective move in WWE history, the F5, performed by Brock Lesnar. I don't know. I think the F Sank's better.
Indeed.
But now we have seen the footage to show about the future. The greatest comeback in sports entertainment history. A comeback shall be hoisted upon the shoulders of the beast and slammed down, and the resurrection will be put down. And that my vision of the future will be validated. Because my WrestleMania theory of relativity goes F5 equals Lesnar goes up, down goes Goldberg. So that's Einstein and Newton sort of fucking hybrid. I like it. E equals MC squared, bitches! Good promo, because Heyman was talking.
Of course. Shock surprise there.
But the only problem is it was like, yeah, that's all we're fucking getting every week, isn't it? Next week will be Goldberg, then it'll be Brock, and then they'll have the face-off at the final show. That will get injured.
We'll have to keep the They actually have to keep the physicality somewhat to a minimum until the go-home show where Goldberg gets one over on Lesnar one last time, and that'll lead to Lesnar basically destroying him at Mania.
And then Lesnar gets injured. And your main event has been fucked up by the guy that should have got injured in the first place. Because why the fuck did he come back? Jesus, the irony. So now Mick Foley's in his office. Stephanie shows up. And she says that, Heyman's creepy, but likes the way that she can make Mick laugh because of the tension between them. And basically, she's like, I've tried to nurture you to be a good GM, and tough love hasn't worked. So, I know you're a good learner, and I hope that I can be a good teacher. And the first lesson is I want you to fire somebody, because it will send the message to everybody to be more productive. Well, no. Let's be honest, bitch. They're overproductive because they keep getting fucking injured. Isn't that right, Rusev and Cedric Alexander?
Talk about both of those on Wednesday.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, was that a shoot? Shoot! Shoot! Yes.
Pretty much.
Yes, it was. Although I'm not Jim fucking Sterling, so apparently. Right. Oh, and now, oh God, we get this. So, first match. I remember that this is the first match. Oh my God. So, we're opening up with Dana Brooke versus Sasha Banks. The great thing is, on commentary, they already said how on Facebook, Charlotte had got rid of Dana. Or certainly admonished her and basically was going to kick her out.
Right.
Why the fuck did they do that when what happened at the end of the match happened? The thing is, there ain't that much to talk about with this match, really, though, is there?
No, there's really not.
Because this was like 2 minutes, possibly.
Official time I can't find, but yes, it was super short.
Well, it went over 0 commercial breaks, shall we say?
Yeah. I mean, so at one point, Sasha's got the shine on, and Dana ends up getting caught with the double knee drop. Not in the corner, just the one that was in the ring. And it doesn't look as good as it normally is. She gets the near fall off of that. Dana cuts her off with a boot in the midsection, goes for the better than you driver. Sasha goes down the back and roll up, and that's the end. She wins with an O'Connor roll.
Yeah.
Not much to this. Basically, it was about the storyline that came about afterwards that we finally turned Dana Brooke babyface.
So yeah, basically Charlotte said that, Dana's a disgrace. She doesn't deserve to be by her side and won't be riding her coattails going into WrestleMania. So Dana just punches her right in the face, gives her a clothesline. And that's the end of the segment.
Yeah, but I'll give them credit, and I don't know if you want to give credit to the crowd in Detroit or not, but she got over in that segment. Crowd were chanting Dana's name, and that has not happened since she's been in the company.
Probably because they don't give a fuck about Charlotte anymore because she's been pushed down people's throats.
Yeah, we'll be able.
She's like the female equivalent of Roman Reigns right now.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be something that's going to be an ongoing process for the shows moving forward. People that are just constantly pushed.
Charlotte needs to be rested.
Oh, totally.
Or taken out of main storyline shit. Because at the rate she's going, she's worked nonstop for 18 months. I don't know how the fuck she hasn't got injured properly. Because she's clearly got niggles. Clearly all of them have got niggles because they've just been bloody wrestling each other for the past, 12 months?
Yeah.
Bar Bailey, who only came in 6 months ago.
This is true.
Then we've got the Hall of Fame Warrior announcement, and I'd say we've got a good candidate this year. It's better than what's her name last year.
Okay. I'm not trying to get heat. I'm not doing this for any sort of reason.
I know we're going for fucking Drax Shadow, but
Yeah, I'm sorry. No disrespect at all to this guy that I don't know, obviously, because I don't follow sports. So there's no disrespect there. I understand.
Neither do I, but the story is pretty damn inspirational.
Well, I don't know anything about this guy, and I'm sure he definitely deserves it, but this should have been Elijah Mainville. And there's nobody else it should have been this year.
I tell you, honestly, they don't want it to be a kid every year because then it just becomes like the better version of Make-A-Wish.
I just really, really hope that the reason WWE is doing this is not just for publicity, because that would be absolutely ridiculous if that were the case.
Wouldn't surprise me, but I'd say they're going to get better publicity off this than they did off, the woman that said wrestling is fake, and then all of a sudden when she got cancer, and as soon as Susan G. Komen, she was like, "Oh, wrestling's good."
I mean, like I said, it's no disrespect at all to this guy, but I mean, it just bugs me that this wasn't Drax Shadow, because it totally should have been.
I actually don't. You see, in essence, it's interesting that they're doing this.
Okay.
Because what sport was Eric LeGrand in?
I believe it was football.
What has dogged football and Joseph Maroon?
We're referring to the concussion situation.
Which I know it isn't concussion because it's actually just like paralysis, but
right.
It's still spinal trauma.
Right.
Because even though you take blows to the head, it screws up your spine as well. So,
oh yeah.
I think I'm worrying that they're doing this not for publicity of the Christopher Reeve thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's team. It's Team Legrand rather than, but it's a part of the Christopher Reeve Foundation. Everything. Part of me is wondering if they're doing this as sort of outreach to like this ongoing court case. basically saying, we're helping out, football players. Hell, we just recognized, player in our by giving them the Warrior Inspiration Award. That's the way they might spin it. I don't think that it's not a immediate PR thing, but they could easily spin if they need to because of that court case and the whole concussion shit.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's always going to bug me, though. It's like, I'm sure he's deserving. I completely understand why he would be, but I
honestly feel that they can't give it to a dying kid every year or every other year.
Well, no, but I mean,
because then Make-A-Wish will just be like, we don't need to give you Make-A-Wishes because you're just doing one every year, but you're doing it in such a grand style.
I mean, obviously, the original concept for the Warrior Award was supposed to be to focus on somebody who had gone above and beyond, that was behind the scenes, that didn't really get their just due. And it was basically about giving them praise. And now it's turned into, okay, we're going to give an award to the person we think that deserves it.
Well, yeah, with respect, I think this guy has gone above and beyond.
I completely,
at least, we're doing it. We're right on that sense this year, unlike fucking last year and that debacle. That was last year was so propaganda heavy. It's just like,
I agree.
It was obvious. This year, it truly is like an actual sort of inspirational story that I sort of think is what the award sort of should be, because, let's be honest, if it was somebody behind the scenes that doesn't get the credit, Kevin Dunn's going to win the award every fucking year.
Here's the thing, though. Like I said, please don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that Eric LeGrand is not deserving of the award. No. I'm sure he is. He absolutely is. Like I said, the video package was inspirational. I barely saw half of it because I was doing my laundry. That's because my laundry went off and I didn't want dirty clothes to be sitting in the thing. But the thing is, I'm not going against that at all. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all. And there's no disrespect to this at all. Like I said, if it would have been me, I would have went with Elijah.
Yeah. In a perfect world, not in a perfect world. It's weird to say if you were the booker, because it's like you don't really book awards. But
then again, if I were in charge, Owen Hart and Brian Pillman somehow, some way would both be in the Hall of Fame. But that's just me.
I would honestly say Pillman is more likely at the minute.
I know, but if it was, we talk about perfect world scenario, both of them would be in, and it wouldn't have taken this long for Rick Rude to get in either.
With Owen, I'm not saying that Owen's wife needs to pass on or whatever, but I honestly think with her, it's like it was sort of with Macho Man,
right?
As in, until she dies, there's no chance of it happening, because then they can't, they don't have to air the dirty laundry.
Of course.
That's why there's, they can't put Chyna in until this documentary comes out they supposedly made of her last days, which is supposedly still supposed to be making its way out. But the thing I find interesting about that issue is I think they're holding on to the footage and won't be releasing it until she gets put in the Hall of Fame, because I think this director, rather than using it as it was supposed to be, as originally happened when she died, about a celebration of her life.
Right.
I think I somehow fear that he may try and take it in the turn of, this is what they did to her. What bad people WWE are.
I guess we'll see. Speaking of Hall of Fame, it wasn't mentioned tonight, but Uncle Dave's list is continuing to come to fruition because it sounds like most likely on Raw Monday night next week in Brooklyn, William Regal will be officially announced as the next inductee in the Hall of Fame.
So then who's the celebrity?
Well, we're waiting on Christian because he's the last one that was rumored for this list this year.
Yeah, but who's the celebrity?
We'll see if they're actually.
Vader was on the list.
Well, I'm hearing who the celebrity could possibly be, and given the fact that somebody, even though this is a Wednesday topic, someone just got added to WrestleCon over the weekend. I think it makes perfect sense that Cyndi Lauper would be added to the list.
Wouldn't it make sense, though, to announce that next week?
It's possible. It just depends on if they're going to go with Regal and Chris. See, we got 3 weeks left. The only other thing you possibly could do would be to announce one of them on SmackDown tomorrow, which is possible too.
Because I'd have thought doing it in New York because of the WrestleMania connection would make more sense than with Regal.
Well, it just kind. I mean, that does make sense because that would be the celebrity inductee, and then maybe Christian would wait until next year, and then Regal will be the final member of the class.
Or Regal next year.
No, Regal has pretty much been. I can't say officially confirmed, but he's basically been pretty much confirmed for this year.
Mm-hmm.
Christian will go in New Orleans.
Into 4/5 of your 205 Live main event.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. So we've got a tag match with TJ and Tozawa versus the Brian Kendrick, not a Brian Kendrick.
Not Eric Cannon.
And Tony knees up Bumpsy Daisy.
So this is good. This is good stuff. Short, straight to the point, but it actually did work. It basically leads to TJP getting the hot tag. He gets the springboard DDT for a near fall. And as I look at my notes here, yeah, we are. Kendrick makes a save. So TJP sets up for the detonation kick. Kendrick stops him. He gets high kicked off. Nice tosses TJP into Tozawa and gets the roll up on Perkins with the tights and wins. Tony Nese wins a match that matters on Raw.
Well, no. The only reason it matters is because that means he won't win tomorrow.
Thus proving he's going to eat the pin from Austin Aries tomorrow night.
Probably.
Which makes the most sense to me anyway. Charlie's in the back with the Good Brothers. Gallows, yep. Man, don't shave off your mustache. It doesn't work with the goatee.
Yeah, God.
The baby oil on the tattoo, man. It makes you look like John Cena.
November is in November.
So much baby oil on the tattoos, man. It was crazy.
Yeah. Basically, they're asked about, who they want to face. And Anderson's like, everybody wants to talk about the other teams where we're the champions. Ask somebody else. Not us, because, If you don't, if they don't get the opportunity, they will take it. Oh wait, that's later on.
We'll get to that later.
So now, I guess I did that on purpose because I realized that Kevin Owens is the next segment.
Yes.
He's got his spotlight again. Like, yay! It's story time with Kevin Owens, baby! Oh. And Kevin says, 1 month to go. 1 month today, I took the spotlight and put it back right where it belongs as they show the Festival of Friendship and, his turn. And Kevin says, a lot of you are upset for betraying Jericho. That's because I pretended to be Chris's best friend for months, but I was never his best friend. Jericho never truly considered to be. The only reason Chris was getting close is because he wanted to get closer to his Universal title. And the only reason Chris is mad is not because Kevin betrayed him, but it's because Kevin did what everybody else would have done, stabbing Chris in the back before Chris stabbed him in the back. The weird thing is, in the execution of this, when you think about it, it's like he's got a point.
He does, very much so.
He's doing it as a face. We're doing this as the proper tweener thing. It's interesting. Chris wants revenge. And he beat me at Fastlane. Goldberg didn't beat me. It was Jericho that beat me. Brett screwed Brett. And Chris thinks that he'll get the biggest payback of all at WrestleMania, but I guess that just means that Chris is as dumb as he thinks, because he'll take Chris's title at WrestleMania, but the only thing left afterwards will be the tears of Jericho. Cry it out, man.
Such a great line from Owens there. I love this exchange so much.
As far as tonight goes, the only thing Jericho and that waste of space Sami Zayn is going to get is a lesson. The lesson of who needs best friends when you have a destroyer. And then here comes Dick. Oh, sorry, wrong destroyer. Mojo!
So this leads to the tag match. It was going pretty well, and then, of course, it ended up going with a DQ.
Mm-hmm.
They basically worked Sammy over. Owens clipped the knee, and he was trying to get over on Joe, and of course, it doesn't go very well. You start beating him up. The referee's like, screw this, I'm done, and throws the match out. So they beat down. Basically, the heels take charge. Coquina clutch, and Jericho comes in. He tosses Joe out, and Jericho tries to lock the walls on Joe. Well, on Owens at this point. Joe nails him in the back, and he starts holding him. They start beating him down. They go 2-on-1, and at one point, Joe tosses Jericho into a pop-up powerbomb. Heels reign supreme. Life is good.
Yeah.
Hoping this is not the last time you see Sami Zayn's push on television. But knowing that it probably is because the company doesn't know what they're doing. We'll get to that on Wednesday. Stephanie's talking to Mick Foley in the back.
Oh, this is where I need to be reminded of what happened earlier. Because when Stephanie in the back said you need to fire somebody by the end of the night, there was an interesting chant in the background They quickly cut it off before anybody could truly realize what the fans were saying. Because I heard 2 words: fire and Roman.
Of course.
Which, that means there's no WrestleMania match. Fuck it! So Stephanie suggests Sami Zayn because he's underperforming.
That's because of the way he's being booked, guys.
Nia Jax comes in. And it's like, fire that bitch! Fire her! Put her back down to NXT! She's not like most girls. She came out of developmental too early.
That is like most girls on the roster. What are you talking about? Look at Carmella. No disrespect, but it's true.
Nia's like, I put Sasha Banks out of action for a month. But somehow, she got my shoulders down for 3 seconds. I demand to be part of the title match. And Stephanie just goes, you're facing Bayley. Non-title tonight. It's like, okay. So you're acting heel against the heel. So you're a face. What the fuck are you, Stephanie? Seriously. So then, after commercials, Foley's walking backstage and Jinder Mahal stops in and says, I've heard rumors about somebody being fired. It better not be me. Rusev was holding me back. I want to show and prove that I belong. You stupid fucking idiot. You just made the list. Because Foley goes, all right, you face Roman Reigns. And Jinder, if this was like anything else, Jinder would have just put his hand on his forehead and gone, fuck. So now, randomly, we've got New Day talks. So yeah, New Day don't even show up to the ring. They just do a backstage segment. I guess that's the punishment Xavier gets for going to PAX with Ember Moon. And that they need the biggest guest possible for a debut show. So it's the star of a WWE and Jetsons film, The Big Show. I guess that's what they mean by the biggest guest possible, because if not, it's like a pretty shit guest for something that like 14,000 people might buy on DVD. And already 200,000 people have probably illegally downloaded the digital version. Cha-ching. I haven't, because I have no fucking interest in this shit until it goes free on Amazon Prime, because that seems to be what's happening now. So I'm just waiting for Surf's Up 2. Or is it Surf's Up 3? I can't even remember. So basically, they keep asking Big Show questions and they keep interrupting him. Like with just, randomly saying stuff, as well as a random advert for the New Day Pops. They keep talking about it and they never show them. Is this like the Emelina of New Day Pops? They do it, and then at WrestleMania they're going, they've been discontinued because they've been contaminated by, Vince's piss.
There's the heel turn.
He's pissed all over this. He's pissed all over this fucking gimmick that New Day have had. You see double meaning there. Shoot.
There's the heel turn. Right, that's what they need to freshen them up a bit. You want ice cream? No, you don't get ice cream. We're not getting ice cream. We're getting
Titus randomly shows up and says, somebody's job on the line, so why should anybody care about being on a stupid talk show? Then says, what I do care about is why the Titus brand isn't the star of the Jetsons movie. And I'm like, because you fucking pissed off Vince, and Vince is racist. You dig? Shoot. I'm shooting tonight. Loads of shoots.
Indeed.
Speaking of shoots, here comes Enzo and Cass. And what I mean by that is, oh, shoot. Or, oh, shit. Probably most people will say it. And Enzo says, they've got a gift for the guy who spills coffee. And apparently there's an Enzo and Cass coffee cup. There's only two types of men in this world, and Sheamus and Cesaro are not either of them. Cass says, you're looking at bracket busters. We are the Cinderella story. Like, seriously? We're doing a fucking March Madness reference. As if to remind everybody, why the fuck are you watching this shit when you could be watching March Madness?
Very true.
Yeah, we're going to WrestleMania in style, and we're going to beat up Sheamus and Cesaro from the Joe to 8 Mile. Lose yourself! So now we get the Triple Mania setup.
More Triple Mania.
Which it was an okay-ish match. But the problem is it was sort of obvious what was going to come from it.
Yeah, I mean, there was no way around this. There's a reason we keep calling it Triple Mania, because it seems like every match is multi-person. And why not add this match?
And the ones that aren't, nobody gives a fuck about.
For the most part.
Yeah. Apart from... Hang on, let's quickly go through the card. Nobody gives a fuck about Brock versus Goldberg. Everybody does give a fuck about Triple H and Seth and Owens and Jericho.
Yep.
Both women's matches are multiple. The tag match is possibly a multiple, but by the looks of it, there might not even be a SmackDown tag title match, which is fucking epic. Way to show what the A brand is there. Have one of the titles on the A brand not even fucking defended on the biggest pay-per-view of the year. I guess the cruiserweights could be a one-on-one match. Possibly.
It's going to be one-on-one. They'll make that tonight.
But then, of course, if we've got a multiple match as well, I think that means we have 15 matches.
We will.
Which, thank God now we don't have Shaq versus Big Show. Unless, of course, Shaq's in the Battle Royal like he was last year.
That's a way around
it. That's the actual build-up.
I mean, it is possible. Yeah, not much to this match.
And then, yeah.
Yeah, it's just basically just heat on Enzo and then hot tag Cass. And he hits a fall-away slam, the big splash, another fall-away slam with Cesaro. Big boots him. Sheamus blind tags in. He goes to the top. It's a battering ram. Cass gets Sheamus out. And Sheamus gets knocked to the outside. Here come the Good Brothers. They attack Cesaro and Sheamus at the same time. So the weird thing about this is that says to me that there's another DQ finish. And then, of course, they had the Magic Killer on Cesaro to lay him out. I did like the super kick from Gallows to Enzo. Knocked him right off the ring apron.
So, yeah, it's a double DQ.
No contest, yep.
And afterwards, after commercial, Foley stops him. And the Good Brothers are like, nobody won the match, so there's no opponent for WrestleMania. And Mick says, well, because there's no winner, that means there's just 4 people you have to face. And I'm going, what? It's a 5-way tag match? And then I realize what he meant to say is, you know, there's 2 opponents. As in a triple threat match. Because you can't really have just 2 people in a triple threat match. Or two teams in a triple threat match. So either way. We then get into Jinder versus Roman.
I do want to mention the sign in the crowd real quick, Ashley. The sign said Roman Reigns likes Nickelback.
Mm-hmm.
Thought that was appropriate. So this match is short. Roman's got some heat. And then when he hits the running clotheslines in the corner, the gong goes off. And this basically distracts Roman long enough for Jinder to take advantage. But it's all for nothing because after a really awesome drop kick to the side of the head, Roman just like picks him up by the throat and hits 2 Superman punches and gets the win. Yeah. So of course this builds to an angle, not a match. And that was where Ashley will take over.
Roman gets the mic and says, I'm not messing around, Undertaker. Get out here. After commercial, because he's been waiting that long, here comes Shawn Michaels. And Roman's like, hey, it's cool to see you and Detroit loves you, but I didn't call you out. I called out Taker. And Shawn says, look, I won't waste your time. I saw what happened last week. I saw what happened just a few minutes ago. You're being distracted, getting unfocused. It's not a good thing if Undertaker's already in your head. Because at this rate, he's going to eat you alive at Mania. Roman says, nah, that won't happen. And maybe Undertaker should think about being in the ring with him, since many people ask about what it's like to face Taker. And Shawn says, hey, I'm on your side. I'm Mr. WrestleMania, but I know walking around, with a chip on my shoulder. There's people that want to see you fail, Roman. Yeah, practically everybody that goes to a fucking WWE show right now. Now, I'm not out here to get confrontational with you because I'm on your side, but he obviously does the whole, Undertaker retired you, Shane. Or Shawn, sorry. And perhaps I should be the guy that retires Undertaker. I'm like, oh dear. So Roman gets up out the ring, heads up the ramp, looks back at Shawn like a glare, hopefully Undertaker's watching this, and immediately gets clotheslined by Roman Reigns. Well, sorry, by Strowman. He did it himself. So at the rate that we're fucking going, what you should really do is call out the other fucking person. So basically, Braun should call out Undertaker next week, and he'll get Roman Reigns.
It seems like that's a good way to make it happen.
Roman should call out Braun Strowman, and then he'll get Undertaker. Undertaker should call out either one of them, and then it turns out to be Kane. So then we got more Mick's deliberating about who's going to get fired. And Mick's like, I don't want anybody to lose their job before Mania. And Stephanie goes, "Look, if you don't pick, I'll pick for you, and you ain't gonna like it." And I'm going, "Oh my god, she's gonna fire Dewey Foley."
If enough people
Shoot!
if enough people actually watched Holy Foley, that's a storyline I could see them going with.
Who gives a fuck about Holy Foley?
Hence why they didn't go with that storyline.
No, but it's like when Holy Foley is a stage manager's Total Divas / Bellas. Yeah, when it's not even real reality. That's why fucking Heyman was confused at the start about, is this reality? Because, like, is it? You know, is this Total Bella's reality? Or is this reality? Because both apparently are real. But the correct answer is fuck all that. Because it's time for Double A to show up on Raw. Fucking
Well,
yes.
before we talk about A-Double, I do want to mention a couple things that I can't gloss over. Number one, with the match with Roman and Jinder, I got to admit that Jinder got a really good-looking high knee lift in this match. Don't want to forget that. And kudos to Roman here. I'm gonna give him props because all of a sudden he's up the ramp. He looks at Shawn Michaels. The next thing you know, here comes Ogre and just barrels over him. The only thing missing was
murder, son.
Yeah, MDK, not Lashley style, like another version of it. Just Roman rolls down the ramp and ends up in between the ramp and the guardrail. It was just brilliant right there. I thought that was an awesome sell from him. And once again, furthermore, saying that he really is Diesel, just like I said he was, even down to the Shawn Michaels reference. Austin Aries and Arya Daivari. This was, for all intents and purposes, this was basically an Austin Aries like move showcase to an extent. He rung the bell, he hit the pendulum elbow. He ended up getting the heat-seeking missile on the outside, and then he hit the shin breaker into the backdrop facebuster. And instead of hitting the brainbuster, which I'm guessing you may not be allowed to do, instead of hitting the IED, which I'm sure he's not doing because Jack Gallagher uses it as a finish, not hitting the 450 because obviously Rick Swann is using the Phoenix Splash, which I'm pretty sure Seth Rollins will break that out at Mania. Aries goes into the playbook and finds another finish. Chris Hero's finish while he's working for the company. Yes, Aries is back using the rolling elbow.
He's not working for WWE, he's working for NXT.
He's in the machine is all that needs to be said.
True, but you know, Chris has got other moves that aren't banned.
Right, but we haven't seen anything yet, obviously, because he's only had that one match on television. And we don't even know where he's going after this, honestly. I guess we'll find out. But yeah, good showcase for Aries here. Daivari bumped like a pinball, worked well. Really good way to introduce everyone to Austin Aries. I'm guessing, Ashley, he needs an impact finish. He doesn't need to use the last chancery. I'm thinking he'll use it for longer matches, but I honestly think that.
Oh, so a guitar to somebody's head.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh, sorry, you meant an impactful, not a finish from an impact. You know, where's my fucking gold?
But I have a feeling if we're going to see the last, if we see the last Chancery, it's going to be the match, the 5-way scramble on 205 Live tonight. Or his match where he wins the Cruiserweight title off Neville at WrestleMania.
I'm sort of wondering whether he does win with last Chancery tomorrow.
I think he could to build up that finish.
Neville Aries becomes a submission match.
Wouldn't be shocking. And they do need some more stiffs on the Mania card. And then we get Titus O'Neil get. Oh, yeah, I need to see this.
Interestingly, they didn't have the whole Emelina shit with it. It was just like the badass Emma bit. The great thing is she's clearly coming back as a heel.
Mm-hmm.
And Corey goes, "Are we doing this again?" So yeah, the heel commentator isn't satisfied with the heel wrestler coming back.
Who knew?
What the fuck? Why isn't it that Byron is like, oh God? Yeah.
Speaking of oh God, Big Show versus Titus O'Neil.
Yeah, so, they lock up some punches and chops from Show. Titus manages to duck him, I think, in the Big Show tries to run in for a clothesline into the corner, but Titus ducks it. Titus,
right.
Titus tries to get some offense in, but Show takes him down with a shoulder tackle and a hit in the ribs. Titus then goes for it again, or tries to get some offense in again with a clothesline. Straight after the clothesline, Show no-sells it, choke slams Titus. Choke slams him again. Looks as the fans chant, one more time. And picks him up, and it's as if he loses balance, because then it looks like he's, for a split second, it looks like Titus is going to get choke slammed onto the back of his neck with his head.
Well, that's not fun.
No, in a sort of C3, C4 vertebrae sort of position, if you know what I mean. Thankfully, it didn't go badly because the match finished and Big Show won. And apparently that is the statement of intent heading into the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Where Hulk Hogan will eliminate him to win.
So then Bayley's with Sasha and says, you're facing Nia. And says, Nia can do a load of damage. And Sasha says, well, I prove that she's beatable. Ignore the haters that don't think that you're a worthy champion. And then we can steal the show at Mania. And all the time I'm going, the women's division is getting a WrestleMania 17 moment, aren't they? Because Sasha is basically going to do the equivalent of low blow Bayley and roll her up and get the win.
And then Bayley wins the title back at the pay-per-view in her hometown, San Jose.
Charlotte gets a fucking rest.
Yep.
Or goes into a mini storyline with Dana.
Dana Brooks, the next storyline.
Try and build her up. Yeah. So back from break, and Jericho's in the back. And it's not Charlie.
No, it's not.
Mike Rome!
Yeah, it is.
And says, how are you going to respond to Kevin? And I'm like, I only saw glimpses of this from Owen's videos. from a certain night of horror.
Yes.
God, I'm speaking like fucking Broken Hardys. A night of horror around the time of All Hallows. I had a premonition.
I don't recall the Broken Ones going to a night of horror, but I do definitely recall them going to a kingdom of animals.
I'm pretty sure that was Kevin Owens, isn't it?
All of the above.
Zoo enthusiast.
All of the above.
Oh no, because
the zoo enthusiast.
No, because they've got their own animal kingdom. Because you got George Washington the giraffe.
Yes, I think they were cheating on good old George and Smoking Joe because of that.
At WrestleMania, he will get the revenge of Jericho, and we'll pay him back, man.
God dang it! I'm telling you, they
keep doing that line because it sounds like they're stoned.
Is Jericho? No. Is Jericho Johnny Depp doing the dude from The Big Lebowski? Is that exactly what Jericho's gimmick is now? Jeff Spicoli's favorite wrestler, Chris Jericho.
But Jericho wants to show the real Kevin Owens. Not the Kevin that pretended to be his friend and turned on him at Festival of the Friendship. So on a special episode of the highlight reel next week, his guest will be the real Kevin Owens.
You mean the guy on Facebook that I talked to?
Probably. Yeah, but is that a Kevin Owens or the Brian Kendrick? Sorry, Kevin Owens.
That is a Kevin Owens.
So it's like, okay, Tom, you can leave. And immediately I'm going, oh, shit, son. Oh, shit. And Mike goes, I'm Mike Rome. Tom Phillips has been on SmackDown for months now. And he's like, look, you're Tom Phillips. I know you're Tom Phillips. And I swear with this bit, it's like, I can't wait now for WrestleMania when they do the social media lounge, because Tom will be doing it, because they'll realize, why the fuck have we got 4 announcers for WrestleMania? And Tom will interview Jericho like in the social media lounge, and he'll be like, Mike, great to see you, man. He's gonna get Tom and Mike the wrong way around.
Now Ashley, it would have been even more funny and more hilarious and extremely inside if the person that he got them confused with would have been Greg Hamilton.
True.
But no one would have got that
or
reference.
Jack Tunney.
Oh, God.
Jack Tunney. Or Jack Tunney Jr.
Yes, it's good to see.
And the only people that get that, is Owen and probably Mike himself.
Yes.
And a few other people that know.
It's good to see a good friend of the network and a really swell person that I've been able to hang out with on a time or two get some good TV time in WWE broadcasting. A lot of people don't really know him.
You know what happens, Tom, when you insult my intelligence and you don't even know your own name? You just made the list. The great thing is, of course, that means Tom Phillips' name is on the list.
Yep, that's right.
So it's like, God. So here's your main event. Go ahead.
This was a fun segment for people that really know Mike Rome in person.
Yeah. I don't even technically know him. I just have somebody else that knows who he is. He may be on this hangout. He may not be. I'm looking at you, Aaron. Oh, wait, he isn't on here. Damn it. But we had to have that humor because then we had the main event. Yeah, your main event in Detroit is fucking Bayley versus Nia.
The final wrestling match ever held at Joe is Bailey versus Nia Jax.
It's not like most matches. It's fucking terrible.
I mean, it was what it was. Bailey went to the knees numerous times. She leaps off the middle rope and she gets caught, pop up into the Samoan drop, but she escapes out of it and goes for the guillotine, the same one that choked out Nia Jax at NXT. You know when the matches were good? Nia misses an avalanche, locks on a bear hug for some reason, turns into a hot shot, another avalanche, and as a wise man once said, Nia Jax was DQ'd for kicking way too much ass. So, of course, she gets tied up to the tree of Joey Lawrence, and it was going to go to try to take care of her once and for all. And Nia Jax was going to finish her off and really make a statement. But the referee gets in her path. I'm like, nope. So she ends up tossing her into a barricade on the outside for good measure. I don't care. I legit don't care about this. Nia Jax does not belong in this match at all. I know she's supposed to be in it. I know the rumors saying that she's supposed to be in it. She does not belong in this match.
Wow. It actually appears that there may not have been a dark match for Detroit.
Ooh, the last match ever. That just blows my mind. The Joe gets, well, appropriately enough, Samoa Joe did work the show. But the Joe's main event is Bailey versus Nia Jax. The long storied history of the Joe Louis Arena with professional wrestling ends with Bailey versus Nia Jax. Makes my head hurt, Ashley. It really does.
Hey, remember that was the same for fucking East Rutherford, New Jersey?
That is correct.
I can't remember what that was, but it wasn't like it was a caliber match that closed that show off.
Well, kudos to Bailey for being able to close out the building, though. That's a cool accolade to have.
Well, that didn't really close the building, did it?
Well, it did as a wrestling match.
As a thing that had a bell, but we had a good fight.
Oh, well, there's a difference between a fight and a wrestling match. Logan is in chat. Welcome, Logan. He says, I know it's not Wednesday, but Impact Wrestling will get deleted if they keep messing with House Hardy. I was willing to give Impact a chance after all the problems they are causing. Nope. Forget about the political crap and just watch some of the wrestling. Some of it's actually worth seeing.
Forget about the political crap. Don't watch because fucking Josh and JB is fucking annoying as shit.
It's only going to be 3 more weeks, and then
I don't care.
Josh
if I have
gone.
to watch a television show where I have to mute it and then skip in the video and unmute it so that I can fucking hear the promos that aren't anything to do with those commentators. Like, shit. Actually, shit.
There's no segue
apparently
here.
Next week, Roman versus Braun's happening.
In Brooklyn.
Which means Brooklyn's getting Undertaker. Detroit, you could have had Goldberg. You could have had Undertaker. You get fuck all.
Then you get Rollins returning.
True. But, practically fuck all.
We're getting there. Don't worry.
And so Stephanie says, I'm giving Mick the chance to prove that he can make such tough decisions. So brings him out. And Mick goes, look, when you handed me the GM job, or when you handed me this assignment of firing somebody, it was difficult because nobody should be fired. But 10 minutes ago, the name popped into my head, and the decision, I think, will make me a better general manager, and Raw will be better. And that name is Stephanie. And Stephanie goes like, well, you can't fire me because I'm in charge of you. So, what's the name? And Mick goes, you're the only one that deserves to go. You treat all the superstars like jokes and chattel when they're actual human beings. Vince, this is what happens when you slave drive people and they keep getting fucking injured. Now, I valued our friendship. But 6 months ago, it was you that told me that you had nothing to do with what Triple H did. And I said to you, I hope you're telling the truth, because if not, you're a really good liar and a bad person. And right now, I'm looking into the eyes of a really good liar and a bad person. It was always you and your husband in collusion. Triple H doesn't create stars. He's the creator of his own army. When Stephanie's just like, you're pathetic and weak, and Mick's like, I won't be silenced. Bam! Triple H will silence you instead then. And he says, if you got to say something, say it to my face. And he goes like, wow, I didn't think you were real. And Paul is like, I really don't get it how people can't find me. I've got a business sense. Because I don't want a lawsuit 3 weeks before WrestleMania. Are you looking? You see what they're trying to do, Impact? They're making fun of people and lawsuits and wrestling. You're looking at that, Triple A. They're making a dig at the competition.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned that, Ashley, because Logan messaged back, just kidding, I'm going to still watch because I'm a wrestling fan and will continue to watch even with all the politics happening outside the company.
Yeah, but the problem is when that politics means that the show might not exist very soon. It always has a bump add-on effect.
We'll see what happens.
I'm trying to think. What was it? I remember I saw it on Brian Zane's thing with the titles. 2 weeks before WCW stopped existing, they added cruiserweight tag titles.
That is correct.
That just disappeared, obviously, because nobody gives a shit about a cruiserweight tag team title. It'd be more interesting now, considering that division would actually mean something if they had cruiserweight tag belts. But whatever. The politics stuff is always going to affect it.
I know.
As it sort of is here, because this storyline is proving that sort of Triple H is showing to be way more sort of like the puppeteer than Vince has been in quite a while. Vince is getting the final say, but the way we're portraying it is that it's really Triple H that has the balls and not Stephanie. Even though he said that Stephanie, learned everything from Vince, I'm pretty sure he is going to be the new authority over Stephanie.
Makes sense.
I'd have much more respect for the angle if Stephanie was just doing. If Stephanie was basically the Linda in this relationship.
It'd be nice, to be honest.
He was the actual corporate face and managing all that stuff, and then the public face, like the media face, the authority, the person to rail against, is Triple H. That's why it worked with Vince and Stone Cold 20 years ago. You barely saw Linda. And when she did get involved, it was just stupid shit like, I'm gonna fuck in front of your face with Alicia Fox. Except she's called Trish Stratus. But yeah, Hunter's like talking about the lawsuit stuff and says, that's why I won't rip off your injured leg and attack you with it. And I'm like, okay, so does that mean he's been playing too much fucking Zelda Breath of the Wild? Because if you beat the shit out of I think it's the Moblins, I can't remember the name exactly, their arms pop down that you can use as weapons. So perhaps that's what he was referring to. I don't know. And Mick goes, I don't think you'll rip off my leg, because what you'll just do is get Samoa Joe to do it, because he just does everything for you. And Hunter's like, oh, you're gonna read the name of the town we're in off your hand? You're gonna get a cheap pop right here in Detroit. Fans fucking cheer. It's like, God damn it.
Totally popped for it.
He fucking caught you in a lie. I think he did that on fucking purpose, because like 20 seconds before they were chanting CM Punk.
Oh yeah, totally.
He's like, yeah, fucking inside his head. I was like, I fucking got you guys, you stupid fucking mocks. And Triple H is like, look, I would have never brought you back. I've worked so hard to create the future, so I didn't have to look at has-beens like you, Mick. Stephanie's got a big heart, and you apparently amuse her. Like, funny like a clown? Funny how? He's funny, So what are we gonna do, Vince?
Oh boy.
Stephanie's the businesswoman that Vince taught her to be. But you're about to go around the world telling stories about the man you used to be if you walk. And Mick says, look, I've got the respect of the locker room, and they like and envy me. I don't have to pretend to like you, Triple H, though. I don't need you or this company. You may think I'm a pathetic guy with a missing ear and missing teeth. So be it. And Hunter's like, this must work for you, but how do your kids feel about it? Noelle, she wants to be a wrestler, and after seeing Holy Foley, I'm like, she clearly fucking doesn't. Frank the Clown wants to be a fucking WWE superstar. That's what it is. And then actually mentions how Dewey works in the office. So we're actually pulling the curtain back for those people that don't know. Interestingly. It says, maybe Mick will drive Dewey to the unemployment office. Implying then that Dewey only got a job because Mick was there, even though Dewey was there before Mick was even brought in. You see the issue here? See the ever so slight issue here? You need to tuck your tail between your legs and waddle up that ramp. Then you'll have an epiphany. Well, you love and need your job. And your kids all want you to stay. And when you run into Stephanie and she tells you to jump, you ask, how high? Sorry. I keep hearing that every fucking week with the fucking network thing. That when you use that line, it's like, Keep in mind as well, your WrestleMania theme is based off a fucking line from the climax of Mission Impossible 1 from 20 years ago. Red light! Green light! Bum, 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 bum! And then David Schneider faints as a train driver. I don't know. Happened. Real life, that is, you see. That's the total Bella's reality. Ethan Hunt and stuff. It's fucking real. So Triple H just tells Mick to get up the ramp. And he gets in the corner. And the crowd pops because he can't hide the fact that he's digging a sock out. They hide it from the camera. But you can tell from the crowd reaction and like the way he's keeping his hand out the hard camera shot But the crowd reaction is like, Socko's here, isn't it?
I figured that
Because
was
he's like
coming.
quivering in the corner, like shaking, like, come on, I need to do this. So Stephanie says, it's a lesson to all of you. You should all be thankful to your bosses. And then as soon as that happened, it's like, oh my God, this is not the way to fucking recreate the Austin McMahon thing with like, learn your place to your boss sort of thing. It's not the way to do it. And the Hunter notices that Foley hasn't got out the ring. He's like, what's up to him? Cue with Socko. And Stephanie gives Mick a low blow. And I'm like,
I know.
brilliant. The woman with lady balls, apparently that's all she can do.
She just officially became China in the storyline.
Yeah. Does that mean she's having a sex tape with X-Pac?
I highly doubt it.
Shoot! I bet it fucking happened. Vince wasn't looking. And basically, Hunter takes off his jacket and everything, and he's like ready to beat up Foley. Cue Seth Rollins' music, and he's on his crutch, the knees in a brace and everything. And Hunter's like, come on, you cripple. And Seth just lifts up the crutch to shoulder height and just drops it. And runs in and beats the shit out of him. Gives him a running boot to the head, sending Triple H to the floor. Triple H picks up the crutch, goes into the ring. Rollins gets some offense, but then Hunter manages to just smack Roman in the leg with the crutch, and then the swings at the back of the knee and goes after that. So then Hunter takes off his shirt completely, so he's just, he's just all torso and trousers, literally. And then the fucking interesting shit happened. He didn't go for a figure four.
Nope, he didn't.
He put on an Indian deathlock.
He went all terrorizing on him.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everybody are the episodes of WCW with terrorizing on the network?
John Polivek? Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Because I don't know, because if it's on like Saturday night and whatever, they aren't on the network yet. I think. In which case, go back to the old terrorizing WCW days. If you can. There's probably plenty of matches on YouTube because obviously if it's not on the network, technically WWE can't do anything about it. And say, look, people can access it via us when it's like, well, you haven't provided it yet. Because I don't know how much material they've got. I mean, Owen's got the network, but I don't know if he's able to check. Probably not.
No, but right now I'm able to go to YouTube immediately, and I found a WCW Worldwide match from 1993 that was filmed at Disney MGM Studios between Terrorizing and Brian Armstrong.
There you go. It's on YouTube's, everybody. There's your homework.
He hit a Tilt-A-Whirl backbreaker and then locked on the inverted STF and that inverted Indian Deathlock and won the thing.
So the officials come out to try and stop it, and they do so. And Hunter just smacks him with the crutch again in the knee. And we say copyright 2017.
Yeah, that's the end of the show.
That's how we end Joe Lewis.
Yeah. A lot of just stuff that was kind of there.
The thing I'm more amazed about is the fact that there was, nothing that happened afterwards, from what I can tell.
Yeah, I can't find anything either. Nothing that I can see. But yeah, I think that's.
Oh, hang on. Okay, after Raw went off the air, apparently Roman Reigns came to the ring, called out Strowman. They had a brawl.
Okay. Like you do.
Reigns eventually speared him twice. Reigns' music hit to send Joe Lewis home disappointed.
Yeah.
It wasn't a match. It was just a beatdown thing. So technically, still the last match in a fucking arena was Bayley versus Nia Jax. It's not like most matches. It was fucking disappointing.
Yep. So I think, yeah, I mean, it's business as usual right now until we get to Mania. Obviously, we've got 3 weeks now, so we'll see where we go from here. SmackDown should be interesting this week. And 205 Live should be interesting this week. I guess we'll see what happens. Like, we'll talk about that on Wednesday, along with everything that's been going on with Impact and New Japan. And we're also going to be talking about What Culture Pro Wrestling and Ring of Honor and all the other various indie promotions and other things like World Extreme Wrestling did their the WXW the gold tournament,
The 16-carat
16-man carat gold tournament. Solid, yeah, carat gold tournament. Long day. We'll talk about that.
Oh,
16 karat gold tournament. Yeah, there you go. We're going to be talking about. Yeah, I know it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel. I mean, I can't say I feel for you because obviously you're going to NXT.
Yeah, but at this point,
You're going to Raw and SmackDown. But it's like the Sunday. It's like, oh, if only there was an actual wrestling show happening at the other time. Because at the rate it's going, that'd probably get more people going. Thinking WrestleMania.
I just wish that Ring of Honor would have ran on Friday so I could have gone to both.
I know I know this is a Dave story because obviously it came through as you after we go off the air, but I think they said that the resale tickets, the cheapest WrestleMania tickets, are $120,
Yeah, it's not.
which is interesting because the cheapest WrestleMania tickets when you could buy them were 150.
Yep.
As in, the second-hand market is actually being traditional rather than inflated, which I must mean WWE is shitting themselves with the fact that the resale ticket prices for WWE are absolutely terrible compared to their other products.
Yeah, it's the only thing of WrestleMania weekend that's not sold out right now.
And I think the tickets are at face value for Raw and SmackDown. They're like $15 and $20, I think, for the cheapest tickets on the resale market.
Resale, yeah, that sounds about
NXT,
right.
NXT 75, I think, and like the Hall of Fame's 50. And then WrestleMania is the only thing that's actually cheaper than face value. Says quite a bit.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's the. I think that's our show.
Mm-hmm.
Not much to say about today. It's just kind of. I mean, it kind of came and went. There's a few things that were there. There's a lot of things that were kind of predictable tonight. Like a lot of things made sense. A lot of things didn't make sense. As we build
I was too fucking upset by Dennis Stamp.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Dennis Stamp on Wednesday.
I mean, let's hope SmackDown's better tomorrow, but I'm just fearing with the fact that we've got Corbin versus Ambrose that could be all right.
Right.
The mixed tag, which I don't care about. Orton versus Wyatt, which I don't care about because it seems pretty obvious that Orton's going to win.
Which sucks.
AJ versus Shane. Do I need to give a fucking reason? And that's it. Oh, and the women's situation just seems to be bloody stupid because it's multi-person. So even SmackDown's degraded. Bring on. What's the pay-per-view after? Oh, it's Backlash again. Yeah, Backlash isn't in September this year, people. I wonder if they're going to give it a fucking subtitle name because it doesn't, so they don't get confused with Backlash back in September. Backlash, start of the line.
God. So yeah, that's our show. Wednesday night, Wednesday Wrestling Popcast, 9 p.m. SmackDown 205 Live, Ring of Honor, New Japan, What Culture Pro Wrestling, and everything.
Keep in mind as well, because I got caught out by this. If you're in the UK listening to us, everything's an hour earlier this week and next week. In case you're just joining us now and you're wondering why we've already been talking for an hour or so.
All right.
We haven't just started. America decided, thanks to George W., decided to have weird times for daylight saving / British summertime, however you call it. So for the next 2 weeks, everything goes skew-if.
Yep.
The go-home shows for the network before Mania, as well as Raw and SmackDown, will be back to your normal, later than usual times.
And I think I can officially confirm, given the fact that everything's going to be extremely chaotic, a ton of Popcast for WrestleMania week. And the WrestleMania Popcast will probably come mid-afternoon on Monday. We're going to do both WrestleMania and Raw the same night. But I will assure you now that we may have to work things out because the Monday after WrestleMania, who knows what could be going on by then. So I guess we'll see what happens with that. So more information in the near future.
Are we gonna have Scott on that as well?
We will see. I guess we'll find out if that's going to be the case or not.
We need multiple perspectives from the people that are going. And if they can be on the show, we'll make it into a thing. Which just the problem is, if we have too many people, we'll have to be like, well, we're going to have to cut the WrestleMania review here. Otherwise, we ain't going to be able to get to the arena for Raw.
Yeah, Yeah, that's an issue too. Like WrestleMania. Oh God, we're gonna have to like get up like super early and do WrestleMania because obviously there's Raw, and then it's funny thing about that, which may end up messing things up too, because Monday afternoon, I may or may not be going to Jimmy Fallon. So if that happens, then I may have to go directly to the building from there, and you may just get like a very long podcast on Tuesday to make up for everything. We shall see.
In the afternoon before SmackDown.
It's possible. I guess we'll find out how that's going to work. It's going to be a unique show. It's going to be a lot of archive listening, I have a feeling, for everyone. Not going to be many people joining us live. I understand that for WrestleMania week. It's very hectic.
Trust us. I will try and make the Popcast that weekend more entertaining than the WWE product that you may or may not be getting.
Indeed.
I have hope in NXT.
I do too.
WrestleMania, not so much. The Indies, fucking hyped.
Yeah, I wish I was going to those shows. Once again, I want to thank Timbo and Jeremy and Logan for being in chat tonight. You guys are awesome as always. Thank you again for joining us. Follow Acer as well, another loyal fan of the network, on Twitter at Acer1337. Yes, in a row for all the podcasts you should be listening to, wrestling and or otherwise, as well as his YouTube channel, which is Acer5000. Logan can be found on Twitter at LoganBurton10. I didn't see Pedro in chat tonight, but I'm sure he'll be back next week. It is at Evil Takes Root. And big shout out to Mr. Entertainment, Aaron at Mr. ENT92, and Cleveland at Contra Cleve. And of course, I wouldn't even be in Orlando right now if it wasn't for my awesome roommate, Great Traveling Scott, who will be returning to the network very soon. It's at GR8 Trav, TRAV, LN Scott. Ashley, where can we find you on social media?
Find me on Twitter at Ash is my name UK. Game with Ash keeps getting delayed because every time I look, something new happens with Nintendo that adds to my case. If you can, it's as if it's like People's Court. It's like, brother, I'm taking you to trial, Nintendo, for being shitty. Oh, and Activision, but yeah, there you go.
Most likely Gaming with Ash will be on Saturday, but we'll see what happens with that. So programming note for this week. Tomorrow, the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast, 9 p.m. Thursday, back to Sip and Snack. Friday, AJ's movie reviews, of course, moved to Sunday, so the new day and time for Versus is now Friday. Stay tuned for that. Should be a good one. Looks like we're going to get back in the cage of things again. I don't mean steel cage. I guess we'll see what happens with that. Saturday should be Gaming with Ash. Sunday is back to AJ's movie reviews, which is probably going to be the long-awaited review of Beauty and the Beast, but I can't confirm that officially yet. Myself, I'm going to La La Land sing-along edition sometime in the next couple of days. Probably hit up Universal at some point and do some surveys, and maybe, just maybe, I will hear good things on the job front. And if I do, I will certainly let you guys and girls out there know what's going on with that, because that's going to impact the podcast, obviously. Not as much, but if there's an issue, we'll let you guys know. Follow me on Twitter if you'd like, at Soro and Disney. Follow the network on Twitter at Popcast Network. Check out our Facebook fan page at Popcast Network. Thanks to everyone that's liked our page so far, as well as our merch at Zazzle and our Patreon at Popcast Network and our Twitter at Popcast Network. So, as always, in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, we're very pleased that once more tonight you have chosen a Popcast. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thanks, everyone, for listening. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Dewey, tell them to write better shit.